Uh, I just saw this hand. We're at 25 NL full ring at Bet Online. It's not even a hand that I was heavily involved in, but it's a good hand reading exercise. So I decided to stop here and analyze it. So I have 8, 9 of hearts on the button. It's not a bad start. There's a limp, and a fold. So if this guy to my right, if he limps or folds, I'm going to raise to like 125 or 150. Um, Play, a nice playable hand in position. It's going to be profitable, but this guy min raises. It's a little weird to see this from a guy with a full stack, but I actually think it's pretty strong. That's what I was thinking when I saw it. A lot of idiots will do this with aces and kings for some stupid reason. They want action. They don't want people to fold. Of course, it's a bad idea to min raise because you're going to get callers and you're just really begging to get outdrawn. But he min raises, so I don't want to re-raise him here again because I interpret this as actually very strong. But I can call for just 2 big blinds and play in position against him with a good implied odds hand. And clearly we're going to be multi-way. So I make the call, and there's a whole bunch of callers. And if this guy has aces or kings, he should be thinking, wow, that's why you don't min raise. Because I really didn't want 5 callers, or I shouldn't want 5 callers. Anyway, here's the flop. It's almost good for me, right? If there was another heart, or if this 3 was a 6 or something. As it is, I just have a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw, so we'll see what happens, but I don't expect to get heavily involved. So we have a little min donk bet. This guy's saying, there aren't really draws out here, so I would expect him to have like 8-7 or 3-4, maybe a weak jack, maybe maybe a hand like mine, or some sort of backdoor draw. Nothing amazing. We get a fold. This guy calls, so he looks super weak. He'd be happy to just see a turn for 25 cents. He doesn't have anything. And now the original min raiser makes it $3. So he's representing an overpair. Aces, kings, queens. He's making it the size of the pot before those little bets went in. He's saying you guys are not going to see a cheap turn card and try to outdraw me here. So when he does that, I don't think there's any good reason for me to try to make a raise and get him off his hand. I think he likes his hand, and he's going to be going with it. I mean, with more equity, I would consider it more seriously. But as it is, I think it's a good idea to just fold here. And now this guy with the min donk bet, he calls. And that guy folds. That guy was super weak. So when he calls, it looks like he has a jack or a 7. Right? Again, there's no real draw. Right? Maybe he's bad enough to do this with a gut shot, but he probably has a jack. He probably has like Jack 10 or Queen Jack, I would guess. So 3 comes on the turn. He checks, and this guy bets pot. So he likes his hand. He's not thwarted by the call. If he's thinking, he's probably putting this player on a jack also, and he's just looking to get max value. So he pots it, and this passive player calls again. So if I'm him, I'm very happy. I'm playing to shove on almost any river because it doesn't look like this guy can fold top pair, and he's just begging to get stacked. I imagine that Pan Maniac is not thinking about what this guy has at all. Again, assuming he is calling with a jack. He's not thinking that this guy is clearly representing a better hand, and there's no reason not to believe he has that better hand. So he calls, and a jack comes on the river. Now, if I was wrote or whatever, I'd be very unhappy to see that card because I'm pretty damn sure that Pan Maniac has a jack. So if Pan Maniac checks here, I would check back and just hope that somehow I win. But definitely save my money, not go for a value bet. And if Pan Maniac makes a bet, it would depend on the size, but clearly look like he has a jack. So Pan Maniac goes ahead and ships it all in here. It's only about half pot at that point, but it's the rest of the money. It's another $14 almost to rote. And I was sitting in that seat. I was pretty sure rote had aces and was going to call. But rote impressed me and actually folded there. So I'm pretty sure when he bets pot on the flop and turn that he actually had the overpair, and then he was able to put his opponent on a jack there and lay it down. Are there other possibilities? I guess he could have had, like, ace X of spades and been betting again on the turn or something, but it doesn't really matter what he had. The point is that we're pretty damn sure that the passive player there had a jack in his hand, and if you're in rote's seat, you have to be able to fold with the aces there on the river. There's no draw out here that missed. He check called, well, he min bet called $3 on the flop. He check called another pot size bet on the turn, and now he ships it when this jack comes. It's really hard to see him doing that with anything other than a jack. So good fold by rote.